opening animated scene of Folie à Deux, I knew I was in for a treat. Hi, I'm Paper Izzy, welcome back to my channel, and this is me explaining why you just didn't get Joker Folie à Deux. There will be spoilers for Joker Folie à Deux. You have been warned. The beginning set the scene for the film by recapping the first movie, and it was truly amazing. I think it perfectly distinguishes Joker from Arthur. I think from these opening moments, it's clear what this film sets out to do. The cinematography is already giving us striking and memorable scenery. The prison guard umbrellas changing from bright colors to black was a wonderful touch. I know one of the criticisms was about the picture being a musical, but I think the music being introduced through Lee and being presented as her really trying to manipulate Arthur through it was an inspired idea. I think this movie really allows Gaga to show off her acting muscles in ways we haven't yet witnessed, or at least I haven't. Lee's need for Arthur to fully embrace the Joker makes her honestly the true villain of the movie. Arthur just wants to be loved. Lee just wants the Joker. It definitely flips the Harley Joker dynamic on its head, and I think it's a great idea. Arthur signing the guard's book with "I hope you get cancer" is a funny and beautiful middle finger to the prison system and the establishment as a whole, and I think that's a big part of what these films are trying to say anyways. Versus a regular superhero movie where guards and police are automatically the good guys. In Folie à Deux, there are no good guys, only flawed human beings. The joy in the prison escape sequence is palpable. It was one of the most fun scenes in the film. The fantasy and classic musical elements of the waltz was also a joy to behold. Less of a joy is the clown sex scene, because I think it's just another way of Lee taking advantage of and manipulating Arthur. Unrelated, Harvey Dent could get it. Definitely. I enjoy how the movie plays on the idea of musicals, where you don't know which parts are fantasy and which parts are real. I think the music is presented as a symptom of Arthur's mental illness and definitely influenced by Lee. And truthfully, I don't think that it being a musical is that much of a departure from the first film. Um, I know I saw someone mention that there was more dancing in the first one than in the second one that's a musical, which is an interesting thing, and I didn't look it up, so I'm not sure how true that is. But I really think that it sets the tone in an interesting way because it shows, like, I think, Lee starts singing and kind of influences Arthur with it. And, they're both mentally ill already, and I think that really just shows, like, the idea of Folie à Deux. I thoroughly enjoyed the variety show scene, and I think it's where the cracks in that fantasy begin to show. Lee claiming to be pregnant and wanting to move into his old building just seems so nefarious to me. I don't believe Arthur wants to live in such a dark place, and he even says so. But Lee again wants him to be the Joker, and she knows how by getting him back to the place where he began that transformation and, pushing him to that. And I think it speaks volumes that Lee put herself into Arkham Asylum just to get close to him, just to enact whatever plan she may or may not have had. And I don't believe that she was pregnant anyways. I I just don't. Um, when he decides to represent himself in court, I think he is truly just so mean, especially to Gary Puddles. Trying to destroy the establishment is one thing, but trying to destroy someone like Gary isn't okay. It goes down to, like I said, the establishment versus individual people. Hurting him and having the guards kill Ricky, who I shipped with Arthur, by the way, they're totally boyfriends, I think is what convinces him to say he isn't the Joker. And that's sort of how I was saying earlier, where I think he realizes the bad in what he's doing isn't outweighing the good of what he wants to do. The system created a monster and it destroys him as well. After the court scene, the guards take revenge on Arthur for insulting them by beating him, and I know that there's a lot of conversation about whether there was a grape scene or not that was cut. I personally didn't interpret the scene after court as grape, but looking back on it, I definitely see it more as I was looking up people's thoughts about the movie and trying to figure out, you know, what I was going to say. I definitely saw a lot of the conversations about it. And I see it a lot more now, and I think that's definitely a possibility. Um, and I see why that would make people upset because it's an upsetting thing. Um, I think it just reinforces the idea that beyond the makeup, Joker is a human being. And like I said, I know people are upset by the fact it happened to a character they loved, the main character, the almost hero of the story. But here's some news for you. Inmates get abused in every way in prison all the time. It's a dark world we live in, and the movie isn't trying to shield the audience from it. They're trying to make it seem. As I said, the system creates monsters and destroys them. It happens in fiction and it happens in real life. And I don't think it was a bad idea to show it, and I don't think that their intentions were to say that the grape cured his mental illness. I think it was just the movie showing bad things that happen to prisoners, and along with the other things that Arthur witnesses, I think that's what makes him think he isn't just the Joker, throughout the movie. He just wants to be, throughout both movies, he just wants to be loved. And I think that that is what it really boils down to. Near the end, the courthouse is blown up, and Arthur has his chance to escape, and presumably this creates Two-Face from Harvey Dent, which kind of goes against something I'll mention later in the video. The guys Arthur escapes with, I think were seen earlier in the movie because I recognize the clown mask for the one of them. And I think they go on to be thugs for Heath Ledger's Joker, which is why I mentioned Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face in the courtroom explosion scene. Kind of goes against some of the stuff they were alluding to later in the film. Furthering my take that the Joker isn't one person, it's an idea. And that's another big part of the movie that I think people just didn't understand. The Joker doesn't have to be one person. It doesn't have to be one thing. It is an idea. It is a movement, especially in the context of the film. An idea of the marginalized, the mistreated, and the unwell. Lee at the end finally calls him Arthur because she finally sees him as he truly is, Arthur. Even without the man, the idea of the Joker lives on. And what I believe is the scene that makes the movie make sense is Lee singing while Arthur pleads for her to stop. He doesn't want the fantasy anymore. He just wants love and freedom, and that's all it was ever about anyway. Lee is sick, and her fantasy lives on even as the music stops for Arthur. In the end, Arthur shows kindness to a fellow prisoner who stabs him to death and then carves a smile into himself with the prison shiv. I think that's Heath Ledger's Joker and the idea that the Joker lives on as Arthur dies alone. The ending song says it all. That's life. Life is comedy, life is tragedy, life is music, and the idea of the Joker will never die. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my sort of recap and my thoughts about Joker Folie à Deux. Um, I really think that a lot of people just didn't get it, and maybe me describing it the way I did maybe helped you get it a little bit more, and if it didn't, that's okay. Everyone's entitled to like or dislike whatever they want, and I completely understand how the movie can be very divisive, especially with like the grape scene at the end, if it was or wasn't what was intended. I think Gaga did a really great job in it. I think she's going to get a lot of slack for the movie being what it is, even though I think it's what the director probably intended anyways. And I saw some people talking about, it was almost like Todd Phillips and seeing the kind of people that related to the first one so much and kind of pivoting to really tell a story that showed what he wanted to show. And it's a sad story. It's a beautiful story. It's I think a great movie. I think it really encapsulates everything of the first one and builds on it. And I was sad to see Arthur die at the end, but again, like the Joker lives on regardless of the band who takes on the moniker. And it is an origin story, as someone had mentioned. It is not the definitive Joker origin story, and I think sometimes you can just have something different. I like the musical elements from the movie. I really don't think that they were that out of nowhere. I think it introduced them very naturally, and yeah. Also hope you enjoyed the video because uh, this is like the second time I've done a scripted video. I also just bought a microphone, so it's a little bit different, and I really just hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to comment and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Hit the damn bell. I don't know. I hate telling people to do that stuff because there's so much that YouTube wants you to do. I just hope you enjoyed the video, period. I really do like the drawing that I did for this one. It's a bit more simple than I really wanted, I guess. Like, I feel like a lot of my YouTube drawings are just so simple, which is fine, I suppose, but like, I really want to show some of my more intricate work on here, but it's like the things I get inspired by for YouTube just aren't always the intricate designs, so that's something I'm going to work on. But I like it. I really love the way I drew Art the Clown. I originally wanted to do this video like um, dual a dual review between Terrifier and Joker, but it kind of got a little out of control. So enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. And like I said, stay tuned for more human-generated art, and I'll see y'all later. Adios, amigos!